Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Shooting the Shit with Yankee. As always, I'm Yankee, so let's start shooting. Today what I want to know is, what is a discontinued firearm that you think needs to be brought back? It would be a much better gun, more practical gun, more useful gun, whatever, than the stuff they're coming out with now. I haven't been happy with a lot of the new guns coming out. It's basically, oh, look, here's a CSX with a half-inch longer barrel. Or here's this old gun that we've been selling for like crazy, but now it's purple. You know, that's what they consider new guns nowadays, and I'm just not feeling it. So how about you? Is there a gun out there that's been discontinued that you think could be brought back and it would be better than the stuff that they're putting out now as new guns? Because I do, as I'll start us off here like I usually do, I think Smith & Wesson needs to bring back the Night Guard series. If you're not familiar with the Night Guard series, look it up. And as we go along in the conversation tonight, everyone who's following along with this chat, look these guns up as we go so you can see what we're talking about. It makes it kind of interactive here. If I try to do it, it screws everything up. So I'm going to let you all do it. But as I was saying, for me, it's the Night Guard series from Smith & Wesson. It was an entire series they did with pretty much most of their platforms in, 2.5, 3-inch barrels with scandium frames and titanium cylinders. These are all revolvers, but lightweight revolvers. And they all had a special, like a DL Sport back sight. If you're not familiar with those, like I said, look them up. And a big dot front night sight. They were just awesome. They had Packmeyer grips, I do believe. I don't like Packmeyer grips. I'd change that. But the series of guns itself was great. And bringing that back would be better than almost everything Smith & Wesson's released lately. Far better. So that's what I would like to see brought back, is the Smith & Wesson Night Guard revolver series. Now let's go see what other people have to say here, although one of them got deleted by YouTube a little bit ago, so I don't know what happened to that one. But Sean Bain, maybe they deemed it inappropriate. Sean Bain said the Smith & Wesson 59. Yeah, that would be a nice one to bring back for those of you that are looking it up now. For those of you that aren't, it's one of the older semi-automatic Smith & Wessons, and I think Smith & Wesson should spend some time updating some of their older guns instead of just modifying this CSX and M&Ps. I'm so sick of M&Ps, and CSX ain't great. It is good when it's small, but making it bigger kind of defeats the purpose of it. So yeah, I would like to see some of that brought back. Mr. Furley, Smith & Wesson 3rd generation series, solid as a rock. Yeah, I never was. Which one's the third? Is the third the all metal, the all steel ones, or is that 4th gen that they use the aluminum? Or is it 3rd gen that they used the aluminum frames? And they were a little blocky, but they were kind of ahead of their times. I get confused on which series that was. I think that's the 3rd series one, isn't it? Where they actually started using the aluminum frames, and they were a little bit blocky, maybe a little bit futuristic looking. Those guns were very good, and they were very much ahead of their time. Ghost Shadow said all of the AMT handguns, AMT backup, 1911 hardballer long slide, AMT javelina, javelina, I guess is how you say that. A 10 millimeter 1911 stainless long slide, and the Auto Mag line. Didn't they bring back the Auto Mag, and didn't it kind of tank? But because they brought it back very expensive, I do believe. It would be nice to see some modern renditions of the AMT guns. Maybe done a little better, a little more refined, but I would like to see some of them come back, definitely. Be more interested in a lot of stuff we're getting nowadays. I swear to God, this stuff's so boring. Motor Racer Chris says SIG P220 and 38 Super plus the AMT backup in 38s. Well, that's 2 for the AMTs now, but you're not getting any 38 Supers. Give it up. Nobody wants them. Those things need to be deported back to Mexico. Vidal Travis says the Colt Detective Special. I think the little Colts, what are they called? Not the Python, the Cobra. That's pretty much a detective special, but it's all metal and everything, so it's pretty much a detective special, but not exactly the same thing, but very similar, I would say. Then we got, that was Vidal Travis. And then we got John and Mandrick chiming in, said Smith & Wesson Model 29. They they still make the Smith & Wesson Model 29. Far as I know, that gun still exists. I've got one right there, the engraved one. Do they not make any other than the engraved one now? I don't know. I'd have to look and see. Those of you out there that are looking up, you can look and see if the Smith & Wesson still makes the 620 or the 29, not the 629. Would be the blued gun, which I have right there. But Sean Heasley, we don't know if he's right or not. He lives in his own little world. Paul B says, "Hail Phil, Smith & Wesson 5906. Love the third generation." A lot of people like those third generation guns. At the time, I was always a revolver guy, so I didn't really take to the third gen Smiths. Plus, I wasn't really sure I liked aluminum frames, and I do believe the third gens are the aluminum frames. So at the time, it wasn't for me, but I can see now where I think modifying some of those guns, maybe revamping them a little bit, would be better than what they're putting out now. That's for sure. Gummy Wuzzle says, "Sig P250, modular, double action, single action, and all dead 40 Smith & Wesson guns." Well, he ain't going to bring back all 40 guns, I doubt. But, it would be nice to see the 250 come back. I like the hammer-fired 250. The 250 I would carry, not the P320. I'm not. 250 I definitely would. I had a 250. I had a couple of them. So, Johnny Mandrick says, "Sig P224 and 227. I have one of those. I think it's the 227. The 224 I sold off because I didn't like the proportions of it. But those would be nice. Both. I'm not sure why they quit making them. I guess because the 224 was the smaller one, right? And it was kind of thick proportions for a small gun. But the 227, that's the double stack. So I think, unless I'm getting them backwards, but the people looking it up will be able to tell. So those would be two that would be good to bring back. Dino Martini 59 says, "Marlin Model 39 lever action 22 long rifle." I bet you a lot of people would like to have the Marlin 39. A lot of new people, mostly younger people, but I think that a lot of people would. Tattooed Fucker says, 44 Auto Mag. I love Beverly Hills Cop series. Yes, the AMT's getting a lot of love tonight. I'm surprised. Well, I'm not surprised. They're cool. I don't think they're as good a quality as people thought they were back in the day, or as people think now when they look back on them with hindsight, because a lot of them had some issues, and a lot of them were shoddy and got rushed out. But the designs, I think, are what was awesome. I'm not saying they have to make them the same way they did before. They could improve it. Sig Sauer P232, sweet, super accurate handgun. I take good care of mine. The 230 series of guns are awesome. I have one. I like it a lot. I wish they would bring it back. Maybe even bring back like a smaller, like a more compact version of it. Because, it's a little bit bigger than the P3, like the PPK and stuff. So I would love to see them bring back like a 230, 232, but in a smaller size, maybe. That would be awesome. The Ferguson rifle or a Nook gun. See, now I don't understand why people want to bring back guns like that. Because why would you want to bring back an old, outdated gun? That's not better. I mean, the only reason those guns are so cool is because they're historic and sometimes they're very ornate and everything else like that. And they're classics. But if you just made them new, that kind of loses something special. But I guess some people like the cap and balls and black powder and all that stuff. I'm not as big into that stuff as some people. Peter D says the Smith & Wesson 4006. I'd carry a new one of those in a minute. Heart. I don't know what heart means. But another of the Smith & Wesson series. I think that time frame with Smith was very underrated. People didn't. I don't think a lot of people. It wasn't as many people carrying as there is now. In fact, in most states you couldn't even carry. So concealed. So they kind of were like the wrong place, wrong time kind of a deal with those guns. Heavy J says the Sig 239, love the design, single stack hammer fired. Yes, the 239 is an awesome gun. I've got one right there. I like it. I'm not touching it, YouTube. Not even thinking of touching it. So don't strike me. I mean, give me a strike. I'm not saying they're going to hit me. It's one thing they haven't done yet is hit me. They haven't physically sent someone to my house to smack me or anything like that. So that's a plus, I guess. Unless you're into that. Vidal Travis chimed in again, says Colt Detective Special YouTube deleted my first chat. Is it? Did it delete your first one? Someone else got deleted too, and they said something like an H and K, and I don't remember what they said, but I was interested in talking about it, but then it disappeared. Edgar Cortez says, I also agree with Heavy J. The P239 is a great gun. I love mine. Yes, it is. It is a very good gun. For people who aren't familiar with the 239, that was one of SIG's best carry guns. 9mm 40. I have the 40. Single stack. It's a little smaller. There's no rail. It's easier to carry than most of their P-series guns. So it's just an awesome gun, and I don't know why they discontinued it. I'm assuming not enough sales, but Sparks68 says Rome RG38S38 special revolver, cheaper than dirt. Yeah, they are very, very cheap. Chris Aguilera, is that what that says? Are you in relation to Christina Aguilera? No, wait, maybe that says alligator. I don't know what that says. He says the Bren 10. Yes, I was wondering if somebody's going to say the Bren 10. No Miami Vice love in here for the Bren 10. Although I never saw an episode of Miami Vice, but I know that Don Johnson's character carried one. But I've never seen an episode of Miami Vice. I didn't watch TV around that time frame very much. We only had 3 channels back when I was a kid, so TV wasn't as appealing. Micah D says Colt Trooper line. Everybody ain't got your money. Well, the Troopers are nice. I don't know why you would say they're a cheap gun. They're not as expensive as like the Pythons and stuff. Hell, I ain't got my money either. In fact, right now I'm going to be hurting in about 21 days if anything happens. Let's remember, keep your fingers crossed. I got to manually cross my fingers now. I can't hardly do it. But keeping our fingers crossed that my car is gone to live in the fields up north and live as a wild rally car out, live his days being wild and carefree, and that he never returns home. So if he returns home, I'm going to be kind of screwed. Chunky D said the original Browning lever rifle. But once again, I'm like, that's a weird choice, because I would think most people would go with something that would be better than what's coming out today. That wouldn't be better. It's just kind of nostalgic. So, but some people are going a different way with it. Well, it's Chunky D. He's fucking everything up. Him, Heavy J, always mess everything up. We got one more person weighing in, and then we're done here. And it is Spark68. Didn't he weigh in once already? He's jumping in again here. More seriously, the 4-inch Smith & Wesson Model 28 357. Now they do the classic line. Don't wait. He said Model 28. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll say that's good. But that's going to be it for us today. I want to thank everybody who chimed in here. How about you all out there in YouTube land? What is a gun that's discontinued that you think needs to be brought back that would be better than the stuff they're bringing out nowadays? Let me know in the comments below. I can't wait to see what you come up with. Maybe someone else will see it and they'll be like, yeah, we do need to bring that back. That ain't going to happen, but you never know. So let me know. And if you want to weigh in on one of these topics in person, come to one of our live chats. We do them every day at 6 p.m. We don't miss a day. So come in here. If you come, we'll be here. So come on in, weigh in on the topic of the day, or stick around right afterwards. We do an open chat where you can talk about whatever you want. So you can ask whatever questions, suggest whatever topics. So come on in, join us. Once again, thanks to everybody in the live chat today that participated. I appreciate it. Hope to see everybody tomorrow. Until then, remember, always carry and stay safe until I see you again. Hey everybody, Yankee here. Before we go, I just want to take a second to remind everyone that this channel is 100% viewer funded. We don't take a penny from advertisers, retailers. We don't take money from political organizations. There's no one telling me what I need to tell you. Everything that we do is done through the generosity of our viewers, either buying merchandise or becoming a patron or a Subscribe Star member. You're all the ones that support Pets and Vets and TYMP. And that's the reason I can stay true to myself and loyal only to the people who watch my channel. And I can spend my time talking about what I want to talk about, telling what I think needs to be said, and giving you my uncensored take on things I think you need to hear. So if you'd like to help keep things that way, please support the channel by becoming a patron, a Subscribe Star supporter, or just going over to my web store and buying some merch. The links are all in the upper corner of this video.